So today I'm here to talk to you guys about the character assassination of Son Goku. So I have this video pulled up by Noju, the character assassination of Goku. Now, Goku's character has gone downhill since I would say right around the Buu saga. I think that's where it started. I think a lot of people like to say it was Dragon Ball Super. Dragon Ball Super was the beginning of Goku's downfall as a character, and I think it started around the Buu arc. I think Goku's sacrifice in the Cell saga was when his character peaked. And if they were going to get rid of him permanently, I think that would have been the right time to do it. But obviously, it's Dragon Ball. Toriyama loves Goku. So he went ahead and brought him back. And now Goku's the main character. Like, Goku's been the main character forever now. And I don't think that's ever going to change. I don't think they're ever going to move past Goku. But that's a topic for a different video. But anyways, enough rambling for now. Let's get started with the video.
It's the mid-90s in Japan. Anime manga are booming and the biggest story of the century is going full throttle. This story is Dragon Ball, and is now entering its final stretch, the Majin Buu saga, which is considered now as the most controversial Dragon Ball Z saga. And there's all
there's a lot of people that really like the Buu saga. I just think compared to Cell, Frieza, and the Saiyan arc, it's not as good as those arcs. But I don't think the Buu saga is bad. Like, people talk about it like it's fucking Super 17 level bad. Like, they're tripping, man. Like, Buu saga is not that bad. I like to split the Buu saga into 3 parts. The first part is the world tournament part, where the world tournament happens, Babidi and Deborah are revealed. And, I would say that part ends at around Vegeta's sacrifice. That's the end of the first act. The middle act is, Gotenks and Ultimate Gohan fighting all the forms of Super Buu. And I think the final act, I would say, is the final fight with Goku and Vegeta in the Supreme Kai planet, Goku and Vegeta versus Kid Buu. I think the reason the Buu saga sucks, I think, is 2 reasons. I think that whole that big chunk in the middle, that whole middle act was terrible. Like all the fights with Gotenks and Ultimate Gohan and all the forms of Super Buu. I think that middle stretch was pretty bad. Especially compared to the Cell and Frieza arc. But the first act with Majin Vegeta and the final fight with Kid Buu, I think those 2 are the best parts of the Buu saga. It's just that whole middle stretch that sucks. And the second reason, I think the Buu saga isn't as good as the other arcs because I don't think Buu was as good of a villain as Cell and as Frieza. And even as Vegeta in the Saiyan arc. Hell, even Majin Vegeta, I think the best villain in the Buu arc was Vegeta, bro. Like, deadass, I think Majin Vegeta was a better villain than all the forms of Buu. But yeah, that's also another big reason why the Buu saga wasn't as good. I just don't think the villain was as good as the previous villains in Dragon Ball Z.
It is quite a big accusation to name it as character assassination.
So, did Goku have a perfect character before the Buu saga?
To be frank, no, Goku was never a perfect character and his imperfections are on full display during sagas such as the Namek saga and the Cell saga.
I'd say Goku is a damn good character, man. Like, from the beginning, from episode 1 or chapter 1 all the way till his sacrifice in the Cell arc, I think that's a damn good character arc, man. I'm not gonna lie. It's really good. I think Goku, like I said, I think that's when Goku peaked. If they were gonna finish his character, they should have ended it right there, man. That was a perfect story. That's a perfect character arc for Goku.
During the creation and serialization of Dragon Ball, Toriyama began to develop a cynical outlook on the series as a whole. A cynical outlook covers the idea of believing that people are motivated purely by self-interest, distrustful of human sincerity or integrity. In regards to Dragon Ball, this idea falls on the protagonist, Goku.
Did Toriyama always have this outlook?
I'm not going to claim what Akira Toriyama really felt internally, but what we can talk about safely is the environment the work came out of and how the environment pushed Dragon Ball. Because Dragon Ball wasn't created in a flexible environment, it ran inside a weekly magazine system that's famously competitive and deadline driven, and that brings us to editors and pressure.
Yeah, I heard about this. I heard a little
Weekly
bit about this.
Shonen Jump is a weekly anthology, meaning the schedule doesn't wait for its creators. It arrives every week whether the chapter is ready or not. This historically puts a lot of pressure on mangaka and their editors release these chapters on schedule. Editors aren't just error checkers. In manga production, editors can function like story managers, shaping, pacing, and structuring stories to be market fit. But Dragon Ball specifically, Toriyama's relationship with editors specifically has been widely discussed because of its impact on how the series was guided and shaped during its run. For example, the Cell saga. People who worked in the environment describe it as tight, deadline, compressed production work. But Dragon Ball specifically, Tomiyama's relationship with editors specifically has been widely discussed because of its impact on how the series was guided and shaped. So, here's the key idea. When your story must ship every week, the quality of some chapters may vary. It can reward shock over the setup, it can reward escalation over resolution, and it can make you burn out quickly, seen with Gege Akatami behind Jujutsu Kaisen. But where does the Buu...
Yeah, so pretty much what he's trying to say is like, by the time the Buu Saga came around, Toriyama was just tired and burnt out. And, you know, you could see that in the quality of his writing at around the Buu Saga. And I agree with him, man. It makes sense, you know, because it wasn't as sharp and it wasn't as good as a story as the previous arcs, you know, even going back to Dragon Ball.
Arc fit into this. The Dragon Ball manga ran as weekly chapters in Weekly Shonen Jump from 1984 to May 23rd, 1995, and the final stretch of Dragon Ball, Final Battle against...
You know what, man? I ain't gonna lie to y'all, man. Like, if the Buu Saga ended right here with Vegeta's final atonement, I think the Buu Saga would have been perfect, bro. Like, dead ass, bro. Like I said, I did enjoy the final fight when Goku and Vegeta fought Kid Buu. And, you know, the ending, the whole spirit bomb. But honestly, if they ended it right here, bro, that would have been perfect.
Majin Buu is documented as spanning Weekly Shonen Jump 1994 number 14 to 1995 number 25. Meanwhile, the Dragon Ball Z anime's Buu material runs from 1994 to 1996 in Japan, concluding on January 31st, 1996.
Yeah.
So when we talk about Buu decisions, we're talking about the final
Bro, and
run...
then after that, they tried to get Toriyama to keep writing. You know, they tried to get him involved with GT after he was done with the Buu Saga, like in around 96. And he said, man, fuck that, man. I'm retiring, man. Fuck y'all. And then, you know, they went ahead and made GT on their own, you know, and maybe that's why GT is not, you know, well received by the community, because Toriyama's lack of involvement. But that's pretty much how it went, man. Like, he was just tired. Like, hell no. I think he drew like a few concept designs, and I think he drew the logo for GT. But they were really trying to get him in it. Like, they really wanted him in GT, and he was just too tired for that. He had been writing manga weekly for, I think, a decade at that point. He was like, man, fuck that. I respect it.
At the end of its original serialization window after a decade of consistent work. Now to Goku. To me, Goku is defined by a few consistent character traits across the manga. He seeks his own growth and strength,
Yep.
He trusts potential, sometimes too much, and he's a light in tone character for the majority of the story, but he's serious when he can need to be during the end of it. And crucially, the story usually frames...
That whole stupid Goku thing, that started in Dragon Ball Super. And but, you know, Toriyama was involved with that, you know, at least to my knowledge. You know, it was stated that Toriyama's involved in Dragon Ball Super, and I think he would be involved in the writing of Goku's character, because, you know, like, he loves Goku as a character. He said it numerous times. That whole rumor saying that Toriyama's favorite character is Piccolo is not true. His favorite character is Goku. He said it numerous times during the original run of the manga and post manga when he would get interviewed. He'd always say his favorite character is Goku. So he's very like careful and serious when he's writing the character of Son Goku. So, you know, him being stupid in Dragon Ball Super, I mean, that's Toriyama, bro. Like, Toriyama was involved with that, you know. So
these traits as dangerous, but ultimately life-giving. His optimism is framed as...
And you know what, man? Like I'm gonna say this, man. People love to throw jabs at the English dub of Dragon Ball Z for making Goku heroic. But you know what, man? I'd rather take that than the way he is in Dragon Ball Super. You feel me? So, yeah, I just want to throw that in there, man, because people be hating on the dub.
Contagious, and it creates successes, and it has also created second chances in the past. Think Piccolo and Vegeta.
But hasn't Goku wanted to pass the torch since the Cell Saga?
Yes, the major reason for this being that Goku believed that threats come to Earth because of him, which is
not entirely true. But again, that's a whole nother topic.
I state in the other world. But Buu itself affirms to Goku that these threats will come regardless of whether or not Goku is present. This means that he knew more than he said, he could do more than he did, and he lied or was intentionally misleading on multiple occasions. And he undermines the majority of the cast with his actions, being a large reason as to why the Earth gets blown up. To understand why the Buu Saga fails for me, you don't need to isolate one bad decision. You need to look at Goku's behavior across the entire arc, because his issue lies in contradiction and his lies. When we first rejoin Goku, his goal is simple: to stop Majin Buu from being released at all. There's no gamesmanship here, almost no detours. Buu isn't framed as a challenge, he's framed as a mistake that must not happen. This aligns perfectly with the direction Goku's headed post-Cell Saga. Then comes the Vegeta fight. Goku explicitly commits to going all out, not holding back, not sparring, and not posturing. This is framed as necessary. Vegeta is unstable, the stakes are global, and the delay could mean the release of Buu. But here's where the first mistake takes shape. Because after the fight, after all the consequences, it's revealed that Goku was still holding something back. The reveal of Super Saiyan 3 recontextualized everything, especially Goku's honesty. The story tells us Goku could have ended the Vegeta fight faster, he chose not to, and this doesn't just undermine Vegeta but Goku too.
So what? Goku is lying?
Not technically lying, but
Well-
definitely misleading, and out of character of how he's been acting so far in this arc, and that's new. I don't know if I can beat Buu. This is what Goku says
Okay,
to
well,
pick up.
I want to tackle the whole Goku versus Majin Vegeta thing because I think people like misunderstand. First of all, the real reason that Goku didn't transform to Super Saiyan 3 against Majin Vegeta, the actual real reason was because Toriyama had not come up with Super Saiyan 3 at the time of the fight. Because I don't know if you guys know, but Toriyama liked to write Dragon Ball week to week. A lot of people actually don't know that. Like Dragon Ball is not planned like years in advance. Like no, there's been stretches where Toriyama plans the story or he writes the story week to week. So at the time of the Goku versus Vegeta fight, Toriyama had not come up with Super Saiyan 3. That's why when Goku powers up to Super Saiyan 2 in that fight against Vegeta, Goku explicitly states that this is my full power. Which at the time of that chapter being released was true. Super Saiyan 2 was his full power. It wasn't until after the fight where Toriyama thought of Super Saiyan 3 and had Goku, transform into Super Saiyan 3 against Fat Buu. So that's the real reason. Now, the storyline reason is that Goku wanted to save Super Saiyan 3 for Buu. Because there was threats going around by the Supreme Kai and Kibito that if Majin Buu's released, he's going to be the most powerful threat that has ever been on Earth. And Goku wanted to save that for him. He has one day on Earth. And if he transforms Super Saiyan 3, it'll, reduce the time he has left on Earth. So he wanted to save that for Buu. He thought that Super Saiyan 2 was enough to handle Vegeta. It wasn't because he was trying to protect Vegeta's pride or that he just likes to hold back on people. Which honestly, that part's kind of true, especially if you factor in Dragon Ball Super. But it wasn't that. It was simply, the storyline reason was simply he wanted to save that form for the bigger threat that was around the corner.
When training Goten and Trunks, he openly admits he's not sure if he can defeat Buu. Goku has doubted himself before, but the problem is timing. The story stops between Goku being unsure, Goku holding back, and Goku secretly having more power than anyone else present. When Goku finally fights
And that's another problem with Super Saiyan 3. Super Saiyan 3 just came out of nowhere. Because again, Toriyama was writing week to week, and he thought of Super Saiyan 3 on the fly. That's another reason why the Buu Saga sucks, because its main transformation in that arc wasn't as built up as Super Saiyan in the Namek arc and Super Saiyan 2 in the Cell arc. Its main transformation wasn't as built up as those others. That's another reason why the Buu Saga wasn't as good.
Buu is the final nail in the coffin. He demonstrates overwhelming power, but he treats the battle like a demonstration, not the high stakes fight it is, and that leads directly into the line that breaks the arc. I could have beaten Buu, but I wanted to give the boys a chance.
I hated this.
Now we're told
I hated that. It's so stupid. And a lot of people like to defend it, like, oh man, Goku's being noble and he wants to set up the future generation. Nah, bro. That's stupid to say. You have this powerful threat, the most powerful threat that has ever been on Earth right in front of you, and you have the power to finish him off. But you say, nah, I'm just going to leave it to a couple of kids. That's stupid, guys. That's fucking stupid. People trying to say, like, oh, Goku's being noble and all that. No, that's just being stupid, bro. That's retarded.
Could have won. He chose not to. But this doesn't mean the Buu Saga and the arc.
And honestly, I think Goku was lying too. I actually don't think Goku would have been able to finish Fat Buu off. If Goku was going all out when they fought in the sky, when Goku was demonstrating Super Saiyan 3, they fought all out, Goku would have lost. Goku's physically more powerful than Buu, but again, he's on a time limit. And he barely has experience with Super Saiyan 3 in the real world. In on planet Earth. Like in other world, he was training Super Saiyan 3 because like his energy is limitless over there. Super Saiyan 3 is a massive drain on his energy. Like pretty much at the point he used Super Saiyan 3 against Fat Buu, like Super Saiyan 3 was pretty much like Kaioken. Like dead ass. Like it was like Kaioken of the Saiyan Saga. Like using Super Saiyan 3 would have zapped his energy. So if the fight drew out and Fat Buu kept regenerating over and over again, Goku would tire out and Goku would lose. So Goku would not win that fight.
Itself is unwatchable and uncool. In fact, it actually has a plethora of cool moments. Super Saiyan 3, Goku and Babidi, Vegeta vs Goku 2, the Spirit Bomb, Vegito, and tons more of additions to the Dragon Ball story that have impacted all future things to come. This video isn't about hating on Dragon Ball, the Buu Saga, or Goku, but it's about recognizing the flaws of this beloved series and the roots it came from. Dragon Ball will forever be a cherished series, no matter how many flaws it has. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, man, the Buu Saga is not as good as, the other sagas in Dragon Ball Z. And I've seen a lot of polls about this topic from YouTube, Twitter, and other sites. What does the fandom think the best arc is? And the arc that usually wins is the Cell arc. And then I think it's followed by Namek, and then Saiyan, and then Buu is always last. So, and I kind of agree with that, for the most part. I think the Buu Saga is the worst. The Cell Saga is my favorite. Um, I don't know, man. Depending on the day, like I often switch between Saiyan or Namek, which one's better. But it's really close. They're both amazing arcs. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much how it goes. The Cell arc is usually the most favorited amongst the community, and the Buu arc is everyone's least favorite. So. But again, all the arcs are good. Buu Saga just didn't hold up as well as the other ones. But I don't know, man. I feel like I turned this video into why I think the Buu Saga was not as good as the other arcs, when this video is supposed to be about the assassination of Goku. But yeah, man. I mean, there's a lot to say about the topic of the Buu arc, man. But yeah, I mean, as far as assassination of Goku goes, I think the way Goku is in Dragon Ball Super, the seeds were planted in the Buu Saga. That's where Goku starts to make stupid decisions. That's where Goku starts to get like stupid ass pulls like Super Saiyan 3. Yeah, man, it starts in the Buu Saga. So, anyways, let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think of the character of Goku? Let me know what you guys think about the Buu Saga too, because that's what I talked about for I think the majority of this video. But anyways, let me know. I'll be in the comment section reading what you got to say, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. I'm out.